What is up, everybody? Solomon here. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic Thursday. I wanted to touch base on Russia today and their digitization efforts as far as a central bank digital currency is concerned. And I did not even notice this, but we're actually going to talk about Polkadot today. I believe that's the 8th largest digital asset by market cap right now, and how they're tied into some of these initiatives. We are also going to touch base on Ripple moving their headquarters from the United States due to regulatory uncertainty. We are going to touch base on Hedera Hashgraph a little bit, and the European Central Bank once again mentioning the digital euro. So I'm going to hop right in. If you see any scam ads on this, please do not participate in that. Now, an article came out. I guess there was an interview or a some sort of a digital conference that went on over the past few days. This is a Russian government official says the digital ruble is the future. This is a gentleman that is a member of parliament who sits on the Russian Central Bank's National Banking Council. Gave the country's blockchain aficionados some love on Wednesday, and even went as far as to say the digital ruble is coming. I always believe that a digital ruble is the future of all of our money circulation, says Anatoly Akskavov during the Blockchain Life conference held in Moscow yesterday. Sorry, I probably mispronounced that name. Already we have begun consultations on a digital ruble, and I think a digital ruble will start being tested, possibly even in the next year. Additionally, we see that Russian news media reports are speculating that a digital ruble is likely to come about in late 2021. The currency would be used on blockchain systems and is a way for businesses to track goods across their supply chains, to prove country of origin, and track payments. Now, Russia and China, we see very much so starting to, and if you're not aware, Russia was one of those nations that, up until the past year was very, very negative as far as their press was concerned regarding digital assets and cryptocurrency. It still seems like they are. If you read down in here, he's talking about there are currently two equal positions on cryptocurrencies. The main opposition for cryptocurrencies is coming from the high risk it poses for financial institutions and ordinary people. This side is trying to foresee all the risks involved and possible reactions to them. Now, what's interesting, Russia does have more than 6 million users of crypto, but I don't really listen to them saying that there's a doubt that crypto is going to be mainstream, because I like to look at what they're doing behind the scenes here. So first and foremost, Russian digital ruble, definitely in the future, potentially next year, but we know it's coming regardless, right? We know how far China is as well. This is what I wanted to get into, though, and we're going to tie this back in with Russia here in a second. This is Japanese fintech company announces C++ implementation for Polkadot. This is Soramitsu. I did an entire video on Soramitsu probably about 3 months ago. Ties this D3 Ledger cryptocurrency digital asset settlement platform and institutional grade custody platform. Soramitsu is basically one of the main contributors of this D3 Ledger, and also the National Settlement Depository of Russia. So I have been paying attention to Polkadot very much so. Not financial advice, but let's keep going with this here and see where it goes. This is Kagome, a C++ implementation of the Polkadot host. I'm not going to bore you with the exact intricacies of this thing here, but we do know that the core distributed ledger technology underpinning the solutions provided by Soramitsu are Hyperledger, and they're going to be utilizing Polkadot. Hyperledger Iroha is going to be tied in with Polkadot now. And this is Soramitsu's website. If you're not aware, the first major payments app built from a central bank, which is the National Bank of Cambodia, I believe that National Bank of Cambodia also did a trial of RippleNet through SBI Ripple Asia. Soramitsu, this is the Bakong, this is the project's name, and National Bank of Cambodia. But if you scroll down here, they are very much so tied in with these projects. Hyperledger Iroha, in fact, they're one of the main developers of Iroha. Bakong, which we just saw, this is Sora. Now, the SBI and MHFG dubbed one of their projects Sora as well. So that's interesting to me. See where that goes. D3 ledger we can see right here, so that you know that I'm not, just pulling this stuff out of nowhere. This is that Kagome one with Polkadot, and if we scroll down further, Soramitsu is to build PolkaSwap, a fast decentralized exchange for the Polkadot ecosystem. Now, this is D3 ledger right here. We can see Moscow Exchange, we can see Soramitsu. What is this? The Sora symbol there? Okay, but D3 is a next generation post-trade infrastructure designed as a decentralized system built specifically for crypto assets, used by market players without intermediary. D3 supports the full range of crypto assets from tokenized securities to cryptocurrencies. And here's the big one. D3 offers safekeeping, settlement, and asset servicing without extended services available through smart contracts. This is the D3 ecosystem. And this actually, interestingly enough, is a Russian presentation if you actually look at the link up here. But Swiss regulated financial market, Russian regulated financial market, USA regulated financial market. And they are very much so tied in with the National Settlement Depository of Russia. National Settlement Depository of Russia is a key component of the Russian financial infrastructure. NSD, National Settlement Depository of Russia, provides services with respect to securities provided by federal law. NSD is a member of the Moscow Exchange Group, who we just saw, and operates from its offices in Moscow. A wide range of services, etc., etc. What I'm interested in here is NSD is gradually growing as infrastructure for the financial market ecosystem. NSD also seeks to contribute to the national policy aimed at digitalization, however you want to pronounce it, of Russia's economy, including the emergence of a new asset class for investors and ecosystems for initial coin offerings and digital assets trading. Russia is ready. We can see Polkadot right here. Oh, you know what? I am going to link, I don't know if I have it here or here. I have it here. I'm going to link this video, this Wake Up Everybody National Settlement Depository of Russia video. I'll do it right now in the video. So you will be able to go on that and watch it if you want more information. I do much more of a deep dive in this one. Okay, now they talk about crypto and blockchain, etc., etc. Polkadot right now is at $4.29. This is not financial advice. I actually got into Polkadot back before June, like earlier in June. Polkadot was actually like 100 times more expensive than they did like a token reallocation. So it was like, I want to say it was like $200 for a Polkadot coin whenever I ended up getting in at that point in time. But nothing to write home about how much I have, but I look at these different digital assets. I see things by doing research, and I try, if they look like it's a legit thing that I find, I'll put a little bit of stake in the game just for myself. And then as news becomes more and more validated, I try to present it to you all. But again, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Just stating here that Polkadot is tied in with Soramitsu, very much so tied in with this D3 ledger at this point, because I'm sure that all these initiatives are going to interconnect at some point. So you know where that goes. Now, we know that Ethereum's also had problems with scaling. I am not saying Ethereum is going anywhere. I think Ethereum is a monster in this space. And I think that most of the integration from the financial institution or even the banking institution standpoint has probably been done with Ethereum. That's not to be said that apple cart cannot be upended at some point, but I'm just providing you with an additional option, because I believe that all of these smart contract platforms, blockchains, are going to end up talking to each other there's not going to be silos. There's not going to be any of that in, I would say, 5 to 10 years. 10 years at the very latest. 5 years at the, is probably more realistic. There's going to be bridges between these different initiatives, and they're all going to talk almost seamlessly and interoperate. That is, quote unquote, my version of the Internet of Value, is that everything flows seamlessly and liquidity is freed and can be utilized across, across borders, across whatever you want to do. This is Tata Consultancy Services. Moving on, I'm going to do a little bit of a rapid fire here. Tata Consultancy Services, if you're not aware, I did a video last week. I will try to link it here about them offering cryptocurrency institutional grade custody, and that custody platform will enable trade settlement as well. Now, today they announced that they are launching a blockchain quality engineering services suite. This services suite is going to provide assurance against vulnerabilities in blockchain-based applications and ensure security at the protocol, application, and ecosystem level. Now, pay attention to Tata, because Tata is just a giant of an organization, arguably top probably 3, maybe 5 at the very lowest organizations in the entire world. They're huge. You've got Tata Steel, Tata Communications, et cetera, et cetera. This is Paul Tudor Jones, and I want to play this real quick for you. Bitcoin is in the first inning, like investing in Apple or Google early. Now, I do agree with him here to an extent, but I disagree to an extent as well. But I did want to play this for you because, you know, it is news about adoption in the digital asset space, and then I'm going to kind of shed a little bit of insight for myself on it.
Inning of Bitcoin. The thing that Bitcoin has, again, it's like investing with Steve Jobs and Apple or investing in Google early. You've got this group that's, by the way, crowdsourced all over the world. That
first off, you know, we do have all the developers that are definitely spread out all over the world as far as Bitcoin is concerned. However, the majority of the hash power lies in China. If you are not aware, that essentially means that, and I am not shooting down anybody for investing into Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin is going to go up in value in the short term, even the medium term. But what happens is you can essentially, one of the biggest use cases of Bitcoin that still applies is that it eliminated the risk of a double spend. You know, essentially, like, you can't write a check with Bitcoin, send that Bitcoin, and then write another check with Bitcoin and send that same Bitcoin. It doesn't work. The code does not allow it. But my problem with it is the centralization as far as mining is concerned, and the hash power and the potential to upend the system with a 51% attack. However, let's let him speak.
Are dedicated to seeing Bitcoin succeed in it becoming a commonplace store of value and transactional to boot at a very basic level. And so I've never had an inflation hedge where you have a kicker that you also have great intellectual capital behind it. So that makes me even more constructive on it. If you think about it, if you're long 230s, right, you're effectively short the bond market. That's your inflation hedge. You're really betting on the fallacy of mankind rather than its ingenuity and entrepreneurialism. So I like Bitcoin even more now than I did then. I think we're in the first inning of.
All right, what I will say is they definitely have some very strong developers at Bitcoin, but they've also got very strong developers at Bitcoin Cash. They've got very strong developers at Bitcoin Satoshi's Vision. They've got very strong developers at Litecoin. Anytime Bitcoin has had a proposal that can essentially bring it up to speed for what it was initially intended to be used for, which is payments, peer-to-peer transactions, correct? With sustainable fees, etc., it's gotten shot down. And it's gotten shot down via a fork into a new digital asset. So that's my problem with Bitcoin, along with the electricity that it uses. It's essentially just you're paying these electric companies just to mine Bitcoin, as well as the centralization issue as far as where the hash power is concentrated. Those are my issues with Bitcoin. That being said, from a speculative standpoint and from a store of value standpoint, I am bullish on Bitcoin, although I hold 0 Bitcoin. And, that to me is just because I'm not here for Bitcoin to go from $12,868 to $100,000. I'm here for something to go from whatever to, 100x, whatever I had put into it. I'm not here for 10 times the money that I put in. I'm here to hold on. I'm here to, do research and try to find out what these institutions are building upon. And I'm willing to hold long term to see these digital assets that I know are going to still represent not even 100 times, but 1,000%, 10,000% gains probably for the ones that actually make it and are utilized on a widespread basis. So again, I'm not knocking anybody for a Bitcoin investment. I actually held Bitcoin up until probably later in 2019. And then I diversified out of Bitcoin, and I don't hold Bitcoin. I may be wrong. That's not financial advice, but that's just my 2 cents on it. So, but I do agree with him very much so that we are in the first inning here. And I would say we're a little further than the first inning with some of the use cases for blockchain and digital assets. Now, that being said, we are very much so not only investing in these digital currencies that could end up, providing returns such as, if you would have invested in Apple or Google at the very beginning, but I would say even more so because the utility that comes, the interoperability that comes, the swallowing of a lot of other asset classes is going to be coming with blockchain. And it's just a matter of paying attention, doing your due diligence, paying attention to what these large financial institutions, these banking institutions, across the board are doing, who they're integrating with, and, not even closing your eyes almost. It's just like every day. That's why I do the same thing and I just research because this space changes so fast. So, all right. I thought this was interesting. This is Digital Currency Group. They are definitely a behemoth in this space, and they put out a State of Crypto 2020 DCG Founders Survey. It is very interesting. There's nothing crazy in here. There's no secrets that you don't know. But, it's talking about, macro development will have the greatest impact. Which one on digital currency adoption, global recession, inflation, hunt for yield, geopolitical, et cetera, et cetera. So if you want to check this out, definitely check it out. Just, go to dcgstateofcrypto.com and feel free to look at that. Now, I did want to touch base on this quickly, okay? The U.S., from a regulatory standpoint, I don't know how far the U.S. is from a technology standpoint and from an integration standpoint, because a lot of that stuff has red tape all over it. There's NDAs all over the place. But from a regulatory standpoint, it's very clear that the United States is behind. And Ripple, regardless of your thoughts on Ripple, they're one of the biggest companies in the blockchain ecosystem, period. And, they're potentially, I don't even want to say potentially, they're probably going to move their headquarters from the United States. Now, they're talking about the UK, Singapore, Japan, Switzerland, and the UAE are at the top of their list because these nations or these regions are providing clarity and consistency. You can see the full release here. Blockchain firm Ripple considering Japan, Singapore if it leaves the United States. And we just saw the UK, the UAE, Switzerland are also options. So I'm paying attention to that very much so. Now, I did see this as well today. IBM partners with R3 for enterprise blockchain. It is not surprising to me. If IBM consumers want to utilize Corda, I'm sure that makes sense for IBM to offer it. Now, we do know that IBM is very much so tied into Hyperledger Fabric. We know that IBM, I believe, operates a node on Hashgraph as well. Hold on. IBM wants to bridge the divide given its involvement with several distributed ledger technologies. IBM is also on the governing council of the Hedera Hashgraph DLT and used Stellar for its IBM WorldWire project. This is talking about interoperability here. So to me, it just makes sense. It makes sense that, R3 would be partnering with IBM because it's all about, breaking down these silos and these walled gardens and making everything accessible and interoperable, right? Now, we do also know that Interledger Protocol is tied in with Hyperledger as well. So, that's not surprising either to me. I wanted to mention real quick Hedera Hashgraph. Their token service is now available in early access on the Hedera PreviewNet. Hedera Token Service is a new service that lets you issue and configure tokens on Hedera. It offers native Hashgraph speeds and security similar to HBAR with predictable fees. And learn more. So if you want to check this out, this is their PreviewNet. This is by the product marketer at Hashgraph. And, I am a big advocate of Hashgraph mainly because, it is supposedly third gen. It's not blockchain. It's Hashgraph. And, the institutions that are involved in Hedera Hashgraph are very interesting to me. And these institutions not only do they govern the network, but they basically own the network. Avery Dennison, Boeing, Deutsche Telekom, DLA Piper, Fidelity Information Services, Google, IBM, LG, Magalu, Nomura, Swirlds, which is the parent company, Tata Communications, who we talked about earlier, UCL, Wipro, and Zane. So Pay attention to Hashgraph if you want to. Do a little bit more digging if you want to. For me, this is a longer term hold. Never invest more than you're willing to lose 100%. And again, not financial advice. Take that with a grain of salt. We see another European central bank press release today, and just talking about a digital euro once again on the edge of a new frontier, European payments in the digital age. And this is about a new horizon for pan-European payments. I love the rhetoric in all these. The Euro system's work on a digital euro is an insight into the future of retail payments. A digital euro would make digital central bank money accessible to everybody. Blah, 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 blah. We know it's coming, right? I'm sick of I'm sick of seeing these like every day that I look onto these websites. I want like some actual information because we all know that central bank digital currencies, national digital currencies attached to fiat are coming that work in tandem with fiat. So to me, at this point, it's just like so boring. Just going in every single day, we see the same thing. Russia is interesting to me because they have tended to be a little bit more quiet, but European central banks all over it. So again, I will link this. Wake up, everybody! National Settlement Depository of Russia here, and I hope you guys all have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Thank you for all the support. I have noticed, as a sidebar, if you watch through this whole thing, some people have commented and directly messaged me and said that they've been, without unsubscribing, they've been unsubscribed from my channel, or they don't get notifications. So if you like the content, this, the likes and the likes and the subscribes allow me to continue doing this, and they give me motivation to continue doing this because I do it anyways, but it takes time to present this information to people. And, it's nice to see the support, and I just would hate to see people not seeing the content that I'm spending this time on because there's some sort of weird glitch going on where they're getting unsubscribed by magic. So, all right. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, morning, afternoon, whatever. All right. Later.